the past session. So finally, I'm here and excited to learn from Naoko. Thanks.
All right. Who want to go next? No?
Okay. Hi, I'm Naoko. I'm going to be speaking today. And tonight for me, it's 9 p.m. in Tokyo. And I'm originally from south part of Japan, Fukuoka. And then I am currently a deputy and organizer at the same time with Sam working on WordCamp Asia. And that's it. And Kate.
Excuse me, I'm Kate. I haven't really spoken to anybody this morning yet. It's 8 a.m. here, and I'm in the northern part of the US up in Michigan, getting awfully close to Canada. I believe it was 30 degrees Fahrenheit here this morning, which is not warm. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of work with WordCamps. I just wrapped up WordCamp US 2022 and have moved into a mentor role, and I'm really excited about that. And then I'm a sponsored contributor to the community team.
Right. Abhishek?
I'm also in the United States. Pardon me?
Go ahead.
Did you say? Okay, sorry. I thought you said my name. I am in New York State, and it's also cold here today. And it's also 8 a.m. this morning, so apologize if I spoke over Milan. I thought you said my name. I've been a WordCamp mentor and organizer and frequent attendee.
Feel free to grab a coffee.
Thanks.
All right. Anyone want to go next? Milan?
Oh, hello. I think my name is Milan. I'm the most recent addition to I think WordPress deputies. So yeah, did all the training. Yeah, long time organizer and attendee and speaker and all everything. But yeah, in love with this community. So yeah, I'm super happy to be part of it.
Right. Rocio. Mute.
Sorry. Hello, I'm Rocio. I'm from Spain. I'm deputy as well, and I've been working organizer for years. I'm meetup organizer, and I don't know what else to say. Good morning, everyone. It's super nice to be here. Thank you, Naoko, for the session.
All right, and maybe we have 2 more to go. Yogesh, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Yogesh. I'm from Bangalore in India. It's about 5:30 here, and I'm about to have my lunch.
All right, welcome.
Yeah, I'm a WordCamp organizer and attendee. Very enthusiastic attendee.
Nice. Abhishek, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. This is Abhishek from Nagpur, India. And we are having WordCamp next month. And here to learn.
All right. And Shushay.
Hello, everyone. Hello. My name is Shusei. I'm based in Tokyo, Japan. And sorry, I haven't followed much on what's going on with this meeting. I just got the invite in my Google Calendar and I just pressed attend. So, and I've been organizing several WordCamps here in Japan. And yeah, I'll be listening in today, mostly, probably. Good to learn from all of you guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you everyone, and welcome back again. So, so today now we'll walk us through for the WordCamp process from the application until the event is over. So, what are the phases, who's responsible, and all of this process, how it was, and how it's going to be, and where are the improvements, room for improvement, and so on. So, without further ado, now the floor is yours. Muted.
Okay, I'll share my screen. Hold on. Okay. Present. And hold on. I need to permission. I need permission. Sam? I don't have permission.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Make me host.
Yeah. Can you try now?
Yep. Okay. Oh, are you seeing? Okay, sorry. Oh. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so today I will be talking about WordCamp process flow, and this is my first experience as a deputy training. So let me start from, I think you are all pretty much experienced in how WordCamp works, and from what I hear, many of you are deputies, but I know some of you may have only done one WordCamp or in a process. So I will try to explain from everything from scratch. Okay, so we all know who makes WordCamp happen, which includes volunteers who just help out during the day of the event, organizers, of course, and there are mentors and deputies. So you might have heard that we mentioned we are deputy or mentor. So for those who are not familiar with those, they are global community team members who provide support to local event organizers who directly drive events. So the volunteers, organizers, they are actually the people who make the event happen, but there are mentors and deputies who provide support based on the knowledge that we have from the past WordCamps or documentations that we are very familiar with, and all the process that we have been kind of familiarize ourselves. So that's the difference, mentors and deputies, and then organizers and volunteers. And what's the difference between mentors and deputies? So mentors, they are previous WordCamp lead organizers, and they have done at least one successful WordCamp as a lead organizer. So they know how the process works, planning works, and everything from the beginning to the end, application to the event and all the wrap up. So mentors help with one to three, I say, but there's some mentors helping with more than three. But usually they help with 1 to 3 assigned WordCamps. So for example, Rocio is our mentor at the WordCamp Asia. So she's also a deputy, but she mentors us. So she has, I think, for now 1 assigned WordCamp, correct? Yeah, and she also mentors WordCamp Europe. So that's where mentor comes in. They answer questions. They direct us to place where we can find information or help. But except for flagships, mentors don't have to know everything from everything from the beginning to end. If they are not sure, they can reach out to deputies, but usually they are familiar with basic process. And the deputies tend to be more experienced and or especially trained community managers. So they might have done multiple WordCamp lead or experience from organizing and mentoring several, or they might have had extensive training. So they can support multiple WordCamps through this process that we will be talking about today. So processing WordCamp, what is it? So I think everybody has been lead organizer, I think, or in the process. So from here, WordCamp organizer application, this is where WordCamp starts. This is the very beginning on the central WordCamp.org. You submit this application to say, okay, I want to organize WordCamp. And this is where the process starts. And processing WordCamp isn't the whole story of organizing WordCamp. You have to go to this application to here, which is the schedule. You want to come here. You want to be listed as scheduled, full scheduled with the dates and location, venue. This is processing WordCamp. This is where deputies help a lot, and organizers work together with deputies. So what happens from here to scheduled? Super simple version. I already mentioned. Organize application happens. From the red part is organizer, and yellow part is either deputy, super deputy. We might sometimes use it interchangeably. I'll pause. Super deputies have extra permission to create site, sign contract, some other extra things, but I'll just group them as deputies, okay? So when the organized application comes, any of the deputy members can vet, which means we review application and say, okay, this person is, or this community is ready to have WordCamp. No questions, no red flags. Then we can go have them request orientation. So vetting orientation is the very beginning. Then if the orientation goes well, then we'll send email. So all of these arrows are either email or application form submission. So it needs to happen, because after vetting, if you do nothing, they don't know what to do next. So email, organizer agreement, which you might be familiar with, you sign on hello sign contract to say, okay, I will agree on these points and I'm ready to organize. Then we receive the notification in the email and some Slack channel, and then the deputy creates their website, WordCamp, I guess asia.wordcamp.org/2023, and we get email asia@wordcamp.org. So after that happens, then organizer is ready to prepare their budget. I guess Asia is not a good example because we already had a site. We have a canceled version. So let's say I'd say Tokyo. Tokyo gets website, then ready to find a venue, put together a budget. Then once the budget is prepared with help of mentor who are assigned around the time they get their site. I didn't include it because it's simple version. Then they request budget review and get approved, hopefully within few turns. Then they can sign the venue contract. And they send the venue contract, and the deputy or WordCamp Central can sign the venue contract. So if you get to this point, you get to be listed as scheduled. You have to have all these to be fully processed. So that's the simple version. And in the past few months, we put together this more complicated version, full process. It's very step heavy. And again, the pink is organizer actions. Gray, there's some automated actions. Emails get sent, notifications get sent. And the yellow is deputy actions. So in the past, the reason why we're having this conversation is after pandemic, many communities started having WordCamps, and we had new deputies go through this process. And we got to a point where we weren't sure what happens next, or which is the exact way, which is the correct way to do things. For example, mentors used to be assigned by 3 people who had this special role as a mentor assigners, mentor managers, but we don't use that now. Whoever is set up website, they usually try to find mentor or during the process, mentors of found. So this is the version that we are currently using. And right now it's in this, the document, which is in slides that that's linked from the, I think the post, maybe someone can find it and linked to the slide. But we put it into documentation. So now we have a reference to find which step is next to what, and where you have to lift the coming soon mode, and when is the pre-planning, which is on the right side of the schedule page. So when you are on this planned WordCamp section, the white section next to the map, you still don't have a date. But when you get scheduled, you get the date. So that's the difference between scheduled and being in planning. So yeah, that's the clarification that we've been making. And also the organizers get dashboard reminder. So when you don't know what to do next during the process, you can look at the website. Once you have the website, you get to read a reminder what to do next, send about text and banner image, things like that. And also, once you have a tracker, this is what we call tracker, there's a WordCamp Central admin page that you get assigned as a lead organizer. You can edit the information about your WordCamp to be listed as scheduled. So this is where you can see your status also once you have assigned the link. And lead organizer and deputies have access to edit it. So this is where you can see. And also there's a WordCamp application status page. That's a public page that you can check for any of the WordCamp that's being processed. So there's some canceled one, added to official schedule, added to pre-planning schedule, and canceled. And this is where you can see what's coming up next. So I have a quiz for you, 3 questions from here. Let's see who can answer it. So question, who reviews WordCamp applications? No, so I will let you raise your hand. Okay. 1, WordCamp mentors. Who thinks it's WordCamp mentors? 2, WordCamp organizer team. Too easy, too easy. And 3, community team deputies. Yes, yes, this was too easy. I thought there will be some organizers too, but you're all mentors and deputies. I think some. Okay. Next, quiz number. I'm sorry, quiz number 2. Okay. When can the coming soon mode be removed? I just talked about this. Number 1, anytime you have site content. Not. Okay. After budget is approved. After venue contract is signed. Okay. The actual, did I get it right? This is so let's see. Coming soon mode gets lifted when the budget review is done. Yes. I need this. I need this all the time because I don't know. See? Yeah. This is where it gets confusing, I think, for a lot of organizers too.
That's
So,
a very good point. All of us confused now.
Yeah.
I think we can discuss that.
Yeah,
I mean, if we
yeah.
don't have the venue, if the venue contract signed, that means that we don't have the venue for sure 100%. So I will announce the work and when the venue is when the venue contract is signed. But we can always discuss it, of course.
Yeah. So yeah, there's like a tricky part where you can lift, well, according to the current process, we say you can remove coming soon mode, but you can't announce the date. That's what we say, which is very tricky. And a lot of WordCamps announce their dates actually.
Yeah.
So maybe we can talk about that. Yeah. With that, I have one last question for you. What happens after venue contract is signed? The WordCamp is listed as scheduled. Anyone? No. Then number 2, budget review request is automatically sent. The WordCamp is listed as in pre-planning. no hands raised. The answer is number 1 for this one. Yeah. Once after venue contract is signed, then they're all done with the process. So, and maybe these wording are kind of confusing, but that's where we need to maybe discuss. Okay, Rodrigo's back. So as I said, I always need this cheat sheet to figure out where I am when I'm processing things. So I think it's good that we have documentation pages. But before we do that, I think it's good to kind of little bit, have a little bit more discussion to make sure all is clear and all is final, so that we are all able to use it more practically. So that's all I have. Thank you, and we can start discussing. And I should
love the
send you
presentation now. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I always like to the quiz. And I sent a doc, and I'll send a link to
I think we should publish
page.
these slides.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, there's no private information.
Even for the handbook, the deputy handbook could be so useful, right?
Mhm,
Even for the
mhm.
mentor's handbook, both. And for the work organizer handbook, now I want it everywhere.
Yeah, I think we need organizers don't need to know like everything, but organizers probably want to know the organizer process.
But the super simple version will be so useful in the work organizer handbook. And then the complete version could be very useful in the mentors and the deputies handbook, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have like a straightforward checklist anywhere that, so, like, I mean, we kind of hand it out in steps, but I don't know if we just have it as a numbered list anywhere.
Because the order of the statuses are, because the things that the tasks have to be in one order.
Right.
I don't know if a checkbox will be the best one, because normally a checkbox, it can be, okay, I do this, and then I do that, and then I do the second one, and the fourth one, So maybe like a kind of timeline.
Yeah.
The super simple version. I think it would be super cool to share it in the handbook for organizers, like in a timeline or something, or like it is right now, which is a timeline. It's like, okay, this is the order, and this is what you have to do. I love it.
Yeah, we have a page, what deputies do for this program, which I just pasted the link. But I don't know, maybe it needs a little more expansion or a little more documentation to go with it, because even so Isota pointed out in the beginning, when we say vet application, it involves adding notes to the tracker, adding notes to the help scout email, and sending email back to the organizer. So this probably needs to be linked to a page on what exactly you need to do step by step.
Now I have a question on this topic, that now we have a clear picture of what happened from the applications to the event being scheduled. Can we talk a bit more on mentor? What's the mentor role? So where exactly mentor role begins, and how it progressed through the event planning until the event is over.
Yeah, thank you. So I think mentor role has been kind of finally came under control, because right after the pandemic, we had no like active mentors, and of course, because there's no WordCamps, but there are some WordCamps that weren't assigned mentor. But now I think we have all the active WordCamps have mentors.
Yeah.
So what happened, the mentor assigning process, I think we need to talk about this as a separate topic maybe later. But right now, I think we have this like a separate tab on the deputies list spreadsheet, which some of you may know. And then we just have like status notes about each person's availability. So I think us in some of the deputies asked around sometimes between maybe May to August, and asked who is available to mentor WordCamps. I think some of you might have got the ping, and then we update that, but it's not really always up to date because we just go out and ask. And that's what, thank you. And that's the page linking to the spreadsheet. So right now, some of the people who were asking around share the information about who's available and try to match up the WordCamp with the mentor who don't have many assigned WordCamps. So it depends on where they live, the time zone, and their familiarity with the team. So once they are assigned, they're supposed to check in with, mentor is supposed to check in with the WordCamp organizer every 2 weeks is the idea, but it depends. But I think right now we really want the mentors to be involved in the budget pre-review or budget creation process, so that they know. And I think many new organizers are kind of getting lost when they first start to have to send payment requests and invoices. So it would be nice if mentors can kind of handhold or send them, do a screen share or send them some kind of, videos to show how that works. And then it's simple, but for the first timers, it can be confusing. Yeah.
I would like to add that that's the reason why one of the main requirements for becoming a WordCamp mentor is that you had to be a lead organizer, a WordCamp lead organizer, because that's the best way that we have to make sure that the mentor knows the proper process, because normally the lead organizer is the one that handles like most of these processes during the organization of a WordCamp. I want to give an example of how about mentors, because Naoko pointed something very important right now. Is like we have mentors that are more active than others right now. The super deputies have access to the super deputies tracker, to the mentors tracker, which is a page that we have in Central where we track all mentors and where we track all the WordCamps that they are mentoring, which is very useful to make sure that everybody, all mentors that want to be active, they have one WordCamp assigned at least, and how many, if they are maybe mentoring too much, or so we can balance. So normally we ask people who are available and who are in the same region or in a similar time zone, or, if they want to mentor. In the case of, for example, one example, something that has been working very, very well in the last year is being, for example, the Spanish-speaking mentors and deputies. We have a group where we communicate in Spanish, and mentors, we share with each other struggles or questions, because many times mentors have questions that they don't know how to answer. So we are Spanish-speaking mentors and deputies together in that group, and we answer each other, we share advices together with each other. And we even discussed the next WordCamp that is coming, who is going to mentor it. So we always make sure that we are balanced, that there are no mentors with too many WordCamps or mentors who don't have any, and it's working very well. So that's something that I would love to see implemented next year with all mentors around the world. If we can have people group in groups by language or by region or by other things, you know, having a safe space where they feel comfortable to share their experiences and to ask questions when they have them, and to be able to talk in their language or whatever. So it's working very well with the Spanish speakers.
Great, thanks for the insights. Okay, time for Q&A. So we have some mentors, we have organizer, we have deputies. So we have Nao, we have Rocio. Go ahead with your questions about WordCamp. Anyone, questions?
Go for it, Isota.
No, you go first, please.
So the thing that now when I think about it, and when I spoke with other organizers, everyone is worried about the budget, you know, and I think it's the first big task for everyone who is about to organize a WordCamp, you know, just like how it works. And is that really a problem? Like, you know, you as a mentor, have you had issues with other organizers and, you know, in that phase of just like them setting the budget? I know that we go for like previous years, but what if it's the first time that they are organizing? You know, how to approach this, how to talk to them, what is the starting point in that process?
Mm-hmm. You mean when they're asking you for help, or you mean if they are struggling and they don't know where to start?
Yes, when they're struggling, when they don't know, like, well, they'll need like 10K of any currency or 20 or 15, you know, how I know how I started in Belgrade. We had that massive spreadsheet that, you know, back in the day. And then from that point in 2015, we continued. But yeah, I don't know what are for these days, like for new organizers.
I have some tips.
Don't know.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Please go.
No, I was just gonna say I don't know, because I'm also like more, you know, I've done it before, so I just use my previous experience. So, yeah. How would you suggest?
I have some tips that I normally, so one of the things is that when they're going to start and they don't know what is expensive, what is not expensive, what is I'm supposed to have here, and what is going to be crazy if someone reviews my budget now. Yeah. I normally look for similar for budgets that have happened of similar cities in their country, if they exist. You know, and I share them because this is public information. You know, the reports are all in WordCamp Central, and it's not a problem. So sometimes I just make a screenshot and I say, hey, your city, you know, next to your city, about, I don't know, 200 kilometers from here, there was a WordCamp 5 months ago, and this was, you know, their budget, if you find it useful. And I have done that with several WordCamps, and that's one of the tips. As a mentor, you can always ask for it if you don't have access to other similar WordCamp budgets, and of course we will always give it to you. Another thing is that as a mentor, if they are struggling, I sit down with them. I do a one-on-one call, or I do a Zoom call, and we can go through all the important items. Of course, one important thing is to ask for several quotes. I know this takes time, and many people are like, oh, I don't have the time. Yeah, but that's why it's a team. You know, we don't want WordCamps to happen with just 1 or 2 or 3 people, because that will not be a WordCamp. It will be another kind of event. You know, WordCamps are organized, and the WordCamp vision is to create stronger connections within that local community. So that's why being a team and getting people involved and delegating, it's so important. So normally what I recommend is to divide and conquer. So, okay, each person in the team can take care of the quote of getting the quote of one item of the budget. So one person can go to 3 different venues, another person can go to 3 different caterings, and come back in 1 week or in 2 weeks with the prices, and then just put everything together. So working as a team is very important when preparing the budget. Yeah.
It's also a good opportunity to remind them that we suggest simplicity, like keeping the WordCamp simple, because it helps them avoid a lot of this frustration and the complexities. That the structure we have in place is for their benefit, to help make planning as simple as possible for them, and as fun, really.
And another thing that I like to remind many people is, like, many organizers, they dream with making the most amazing event of the wall and the most luxury event in the wall and everything. But I always ask them the same question. Do you think you're going to have anyone stepping up to keep this event next year or in the coming years if you do such a complex event? Because the more complex is the event, the less people will dare to jump next year, because I mean, anyone will be scared if I do I don't know, a 1 million euros event or something like crazy thing, right? So the thing is that when we make simple events, we make sure that other people will jump, that new generations of organizers and new leaders will join us. If it becomes too complex, too expensive, too difficult, nobody will want to continue with that. So we need to think about the future of that local community when we are organizing an event.
So going back to that question, would it help if we publish more budgets? And also, we used to have this like a spreadsheet. Do we still send this sample spreadsheets? I'm not sure. I need to look, but it used to help because it had itemized I guess items already listed, but now we have documentation. It talks about all the things, but doesn't have like the budget page is empty when you go there, which is kind of like, what do I start? So should we have like this sample, like mini budget for 100 people and then 500 people, like in the format that we use in a budget sheet, current budget UI? Because that might help. I mean, that might help. Like, let's say, create fake budget, or maybe publish the exact the actual budgets, or like proactively.
I love the
send them.
idea. For years. So sorry, Milan. I'm going to jump a second. But for years, we have been encouraging working organizers to publish a page with a screenshot or whatever of the budget for transparency, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it has never been or mandatory or an automatic thing. It has been always up to the organizers if they wanted to do it. But to be honest, as a exercise of transparency and as a tool to help other people, it could be something that, that could be done automatically. For example, that the budget at the end of the WordCamp is published, and can be even a way to get organizers to be even more conscious about being responsible of the funds and things like that. So just sharing their thoughts.
Well, and it would be useful for things like vetting as well, or even sometimes with payments when we're processing things. It can be helpful to know what, like if a camp is closed, their budget is gone. And so there are a couple of times when we run into situations where it's handy to have that budget to look back on.
Yeah, I know that, a lot of organizers, once the WordCamp is done, everyone's just like, yes, like this was a successful event. I don't want to debrief, don't want to talk about this anymore. But yeah, I like that idea. Just as a part of a debrief, just like you don't have like to have all the item, but at least like rough numbers. The one that once you're like closing the event for this year, you need to think about the next. And it's going to be a good starting point for the next event, especially like in the city or like, in the country. So yeah.
I wonder as well, maybe this is not the moment for this discussion, but just my last thought about this. I wonder if that can have negative consequences as well, because of people comparing themselves or their work and why I've received more community sponsorship, or why this work can use this money for this and we didn't, so we have to do it next year. Or I don't know if we can create a problem that if we can create a problem that we don't have now. So just sharing thoughts now.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Maybe we can start with a P2 post. If that's like idea.
Always.
Yeah.
Explore. Yeah.
All right, maybe Isata, you want to go with your questions?
Thanks. It's also related to the budget point. In fact, something that we've been noticing, all communities are different and all WordCamps are different. And there are some of them who really struggle finding local sponsors, and others completely the opposite situation. They have a lot of money left and they don't use it. How can we, like, on one side, how can we predict? I mean, there are camps that we know that have a major support from locals, but how can we find some sort of guidelines or information as mentors for us, like to guide a little bit better organizers, and so avoid major surplus of money, and help, like, be aware in advance if a camp might need more help. Just so, because now there are completely different situations, and I have no idea how to help them in this case.
Well, if they have surplus, we put it back, so they can always like donate the money. They don't have to use it up, so that's one way. But I think the sponsors, finding sponsors, maybe we need to gather type of businesses that we should talk to, because maybe we have a page, but not that detailed about who to reach out to. And
yeah, we have even some templates, I think, but I'm not sure. So one important thing as a mentor that we need to, I think that everybody should be aligned, in my opinion, is when we approve a budget for a WordCamp, we are approving the income from local sponsorship. Okay, that means that we have decided during that budget review with the organizers that they will set a maximum. This is the maximum money that you will get from local sponsors. And then in some cases, some WordCamps can be very lucky, and maybe they have many WordCamp companies who wants to sponsor as well, and they can get, I don't know, a lot of money extra from the WordCamps. But there is a moment that if they want to get some extra more, to have a buffer or to improve something specific, that's okay, and it has been okay, to improve some items of the budget. Like some people improve the catering a little bit, or they improve with an extra room or things like that, right? Always double checking with the mentor to make sure that everything is aligned, but there is a limit there. I mean, I think it's very important that we share with all organizers that receiving and accepting any sponsorship without limit is not beneficial for them, and it's not beneficial for the local communities in their area. Because if they get too much money that they don't even know how to spend, or they don't even were expecting, it's money that is not going to go to another WordCamp in their country or in the region. So I will reject the sponsorship. And as a working organizer, if I'm organizing, for example, I'm working in Spain, and I have enough money to pay for everything, I will say to this company, no, thank you very much. All the sponsorship levels and packages are sold out, but the next WordCamps in this country are this one, and you can contact them this way and this way. And then I will point them to the other WordCamps, and I will send them to the other ones. That's what I've been recommending for years. About the opposite case, when they cannot find local sponsors, normally is asking the members of the meetup. They have a local community which is active. They have at least, even if it's a small community, they have at least 20, 30, 40 people who are active, that they can send a message and say, hey, we're organizing the WordCamp. We are struggling finding local sponsors. If you know any company who can be in the field, not only WordPress, it can be online marketing, it can be hosting, it can be, in their city or in the region, please let us know, talk to them, let's have a meetup about it, and let's get involved your local community. A WordCamp is not about only the organizers, who can be a group of 4, 5, 6, 10 people, but it's about the local community too. So getting involved your local community when you're struggling, when you need help, it's very important, and many people will step up. Sometimes people have found in the last minute WordCamp venues. They have found in the last minute donated venues for the contributor days and things like that. So that would be my advice.
Thanks.
And sometimes it can be a little bit of brainstorming, and particularly in smaller communities. You don't always think about it, but like banks can be good sponsors if they're, small business minded. Co-working spaces, even like food venues, that cater to a lunch or business crowd. So sometimes just getting them together to brainstorm and think beyond WordPress agencies or WordPress hosting companies. But honestly, WordPress hosting companies almost always have money they're looking to throw around. So, so they're usually a good one. But yeah, so it's more challenging, particularly in smaller communities. But almost every camp finds the sponsorship they need. That's also a reassuring thing to let them know.
Thanks.
And in the last case, in case they're really struggling and they cannot find anything, they always should reach out to their mentor, and their mentor should talk with other deputies about revisiting the budget. Maybe there are options to remove the not more necessary items, or maybe can be revisited, and the global sponsorship can be revisited as well. So there are options. It's not black or white. We are a group of people, and we are always here to help our organizers.
Yeah. Yes, for example, in my case, I didn't have 100% clear that the local sponsorships decided during the budget review was at the top fixed. And I think that I've seen a few camps
it's not the top fix.
More.
I said that there is some flexibility if they can get more, because some budgets are approved for the minimum viable product. You know what I mean? So we say, okay, if you cannot find more local sponsorship, we will go with this. But if they can find more sponsors, more local sponsors, they can add, they can improve some items, and we discuss it during the budget. Okay, if you find more local sponsors, you can improve the catering, or you can improve the after party, so that's something that is discussed during the budget review.
Okay, and in these cases, when they found like more and more locals, and yeah, they are like we approved the increase. Should we always decrease the global sponsorship grant, or it always depends? Like in order to avoid having too much extra money left.
I think we don't normally decrease the global sponsorship. What we do is that we ask them to stop receiving money from locals.
Okay.
So when the global community sponsorship is assigned, what we normally do is like, okay, if you're having too many requests for local sponsors, set this barrier, and when you hit this line, just reject them and say no, thank you, and recommend them to the next WordCamp.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
I think the principle is that we sometimes the fund is so that the organizers don't have to do all the work, including the sponsor wrangler, because it's a lot of work to find sponsor and invoice them, chase them around. So I think that's why not just like covering it. Maybe if they have like one sponsor that gives a lot of money, that's not as much work. But then usually if you find many sponsors, that's more work for the organizers too. Thank you.
Is there any other questions? No. So we just have about 7 more minutes. So can I ask one more question? So I think during COVID, we have introduced regional WordCamp. So now do you want to give a brief introduction? What is regional WordCamp?
I wish Hari was here because he wrote all the documentation. So regional WordCamp is not city-based WordCamp, and many cities combined or in one country that you could host WordCamp. And some examples are, I mean, Italy is being planned, and Germany is being planned. Netherlands happened, Japan happened, but online. India happened online. So those used to be not approved because it was not city-based, but now regional WordCamps are being considered in the same way. Yeah, depending on the situation. And Rocio has a strong preference for city-based WordCamps, but yeah.
It's not that I have a preference, but you're right. Somehow, I mean, experience during the last years have proved, but with numbers, that when we had too many regional WordCamps or country national WordCamps, we had less local communities. You know, there were less opportunities to grow leaders in the WordPress project in other cities, and everything was concentrated in big cities. The reality, and Spain is one of the best examples, is that when we changed the paradigm, you know, when we changed the concept to local WordCamps, we started to see flourishing so many leaders, local, very, very strong, you know, local communities in small towns or in small cities, more people active in the project, helping in many, many different ways, not only meetup organizers or WordCamp organizers, but becoming deputies, becoming mentors, becoming active contributors of different areas of the project. So I really believe that if we really want all together, we have the same goal, that is, you know, to keep making, or to keep helping, you know, this community to keep growing in a healthy way. I think that avoiding gatekeepers in big cities or in big capitals, or, you know, because we only have one event or two events per year, it's the best way. So city-based WordCamps have worked, you know, and it's proof that it keeps helping, you know, with that goal.
But with COVID, yes, there are some countries or regions that are having a hard time finding organizers, which is the current situation. So we think, you know, our goal is to have this flourishing community. So if it helps to have a regional WordCamp, we don't have any reason to say no. So, but we ask them to not make it like a recurring every year, only one WordCamp in that region, and try to expand and have more WordCamp.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Okay, any other final question from the floor? No.
When are we meeting again?
Yeah, what's the next topic?
What's the next topic you want to learn?
Yeah, good question. I would love to have more calls like this, open to anyone. I think is
Q&A.
I think a Q&A with working organizers could be great, because many working organizers will, would like sometimes just to ask random questions without any order. That's just one idea.
Yeah. Great idea.
Another idea that we might consider, because all deputies and mentors, we have also like tasks that we can complete and stuff, but maybe not all of us feel prepared or trained to doing it. So maybe we can have some sort of workshop. For example, let's do, I don't know, for deputies who have access to Help Scout. Okay, let's see how to like see the application coming in, or going and step by step vet an application together and do the next steps. So like, I don't know, some sort of workshop, so then each deputy can feel more comfortable and can start doing themselves as well if they want.
That's a great idea. In fact, when we started this, I have mentioned that in the post as well. We should do some sort of sprint or co-working hours. So yeah, that's a great idea. Okay. Hi, Alejandro. You're a bit late for the party, but don't worry, we have recorded the
But
session.
we have recording. Yep.
So
He's one of the Spanish mentors. Hola, Ale.
Hola. I just learned 2 Spanish words while I'm in Spain last month. It's hola.
Oh, you were in Spain.
Gracias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hola, gracias.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you now. Thank you, Rocio, for taking the questions. Let's take a group photo. So if you can turn on your camera, feel free to turn it on. And I'm gonna screenshot it now. 1, 2, go. All right, thank you everyone.
I love
See you
it.
again on the
Okay,
next
thank
session.
you. It's lovely seeing
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you,
Nice
everyone.
to
So
meet
great
you.
seeing
Good
you.
night.
Can
Bye.
I,
Have a
Sam,
good
can
day.
I stay 5 minutes more with anyone who wants to stay?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, I will be here for 5 minutes more if anyone wants to stay. Thank you now.
Thank you. That was nice. Nice to see everybody.
Thanks for the
Hey.
next slide now.
The,
Yeah.